What's good, everybody, and welcome to our first one more sleep of 2023. That's right. We are back at the bank. I don't care. It's BMO Stadium. I know, but I got to throw it in one last time. Back at the bank, back at BMO. For the first time, we've got one more sleep. It's our final preseason tilt of the year. And we're facing a team not from 13 miles down the road, but from a couple of 100 miles down, actually, 120 miles? I don't know, not too far down the road. The San Diego Loyal of the USL. I got my buddy Christian Philly Film on here. It's the Scarf, J.R. Liebert, and it's finally time to rest our heads on our pillows to wake up the next day for game day. Philly, we're headed back home.
We are going to Le Banc, but it's not just for a preseason match. It's also to attend a kit launch party. That's right. That smokescreen jersey is going to be out in full effect and ready and available for everybody to purchase. Now, we saw the replica of it months ago. There was a lot of disdain, which at that point, when you see a replica leaked in Europe, yeah, I would say a lot of times it's not exactly the nicest, but I mean, I would say the authentic one with the star above the LA, with the MLS patch on the sleeves, along with the Apple TV and the Ford logo. I'm digging it, man. I am going to go out there and say, not because in the corporate seal, but I'm going to go out there and say that this is my favorite secondary jersey. I know the white one was a lot of people's first. I like this one even better than the white, mainly because I can't get it as dirty.
Look, I'm of the camp that I am all for experimenting with the away kits. And what we have seen in Major League Soccer this season, I mean, some of these away kits, and you and I are going to do a fun little YouTube video on how we rank and what we think of all these new kits coming out this season. I mean, there are some really cool ones out there. The Bruce Lee kit, the Johnny Cash kit. There's some cool
Charlotte
stuff that Major League, the toaster strudel kit, the Pop-Tart kit. Yeah, that one's fun too. There's a lot of really good kits out there this season. Not sure where LAFC's ranks this season. We've seen a few different names for it online, but I'm going to say this. I am all for experimenting with the away kits. Our home kit is black and gold. And hey, maybe one day, someday, we'll get a third kit. It seems like only Atlanta gets that third kit treatment recently. It would be great to get a third kit. We could really have some fun with stuff. But I absolutely think that if we're going to experiment with a kit, don't mess with the home kit. That's black and gold, right? I mean, this is iconic
100%.
now that we want a cup in it. Obviously, the first ever kit, the YouTube kit, is also kind of iconic. But have fun. Have fun with the away kit. Why do I feel like the gremlins are in the studio right now? What did I
No, the door's closed, but yet the gremlins are gremlining outside of the studio. Anyway, it's I got one of those. Our good friend Isis, who does the Isis Black and Gold Barbershop, which I got my haircut at, she was kind enough to give me the tool I need to create my own little scarf wall too. I was so inspired, by what you did with Chris Lafferty last week that I had to get some gear, and she had some extra stuff, so she hooked it up.
I feel so badly when you say what I did with Chris Lafferty because you were there too. You were just the gout won that day, my friend. That was
the gout won all month.
it was rough to see you in that much pain and in some bad shape, my friend. But
well, I appreciate that. I'm good. I finally got a shoe on scarf. Today's the first time since February 1st.
This will be great. We don't have to see Philly's feet tomorrow at Banc California Stadium, or excuse me, at BMO. God, I have to put $5 in the jar. All right, it starts now. Goodness gracious. At BMO
We have a problem with Philly's Habits' feet. Habits.
I know, right?
Look, sorry, I had an itch in my eye. It wasn't like part of like whatever I was trying to do. It's some guy
1 p.m. starts the kit launch tomorrow, guys. 1 p.m. and then 5 p.m. is the match against the San Diego Loyal. So, Philly, it's time for one more sleep. Let's get into the club that we are facing. Of course, San Diego Loyal in the USL, where we used to have an affiliate there, the Las Vegas Lights. They are no longer our affiliate. In fact, LAFC 2 has already started their first ever preseason run in MLS Next Pro, which is where that'll be our kind of our direct affiliate and feeder. But San Diego Loyal, Philly, a very good team in the USL, second in USL's Western Conference last year, fifth overall in points with 60 18 wins on the season out of 34 matches. There's 68 goals, good for the second most in USL, behind only the Tampa Bay Rowdies. But
you took all my stats. I'm done. It's all you.
Oh, hey, we got plenty of things to talk about. They're 55 goals against, though, Philly, more than any other playoff team in USL.
Yeah, I mean, but like you said, they put points up on the board, and they come in troves. To be there's a lot of teams in the USL, quite a few.
Yeah.
For them to be number 2 only behind the Tampa Bay Rowdies is interesting, and they're still trialing people out. Obviously, it's their preseason as well, so they're going to be names on their roster that we are not familiar with, but they do have some familiar faces. I don't know if you wanted to get into the players' names just yet, but San Diego Loyal, one of those teams that you could foresee playing within the U.S. Open Cup, a team that didn't make as much noise their first season, certainly improved dramatically in their second. And I guess the big question is, MLS has 29 teams. There's the 30th, obviously, with the one owner deciding not to opt in and putting all his eggs into the La Vegas basket and going off and buying Bournemouth. That leaves a couple of spots open in the West. Will it be Sacktown? I don't know. Could it be the Phoenix Rising? I don't know. Could it be another consortium with the Las Vegas? I don't know. Could it be San Diego? That's still possible. Still very possible. The question remains, would it be Loyal? Would it be something else? I don't know. So there's a lot of question marks in and around Major League Soccer and the USL and a San Diego franchise.
Yeah, look, we do know that MLS is looking towards the West once again, right? You mentioned it, Sacramento, Las Vegas, San Diego, Phoenix. Those are the more popular of the destinations where they're trying to put more clubs out here. So that'll be interesting, creating some more natural rivalries with a lot of the clubs out here. And currently, San Diego Loyal looking pretty solid in USL. I wouldn't say they've got a lot of MLS talent. Definitely some names that we've heard of, especially the executive vice president of soccer operations and part owner, former Earthquakes legend Landon Donovan. They're up at the top for the San Diego Loyal. Another owner, by the way, DeAndre Yedlin. So you got some big names in the front office and in the ownership group there between Earthquakes legend Landon Donovan and former Sounder and Inter Miami player DeAndre Yedlin. Look,
don't forget Newcastle United.
That's true. That's true. Couple names that we might have heard of. Look, two names that might fly under the radar. Their midfielder and captain, Charlie Adams. He spent a short amount of time, and by short amount of time, I mean 4 matches with Brentford, the Bees. And so that's their captain. He's a well-respected player on that roster. Also, one of their center backs, Kyle Adams, plays for the New Zealand men's national team. Philly, 2 more players with some MLS experience before we get into our favorite. And then Philly, are you going to break the news about who's trialing?
No, can't do it. Can't break it.
Oh,
no.
He's not going to break it. All right. Well, we may see a player tomorrow that we're familiar.
We'll see him for sure. I've already spoken to him, but I just can't break it.
He's not going to break it. Okay. All right. He's not going to break it. Let's talk about midfielder Joe Corona, Philly, a former Gal himself, capped over 200 times with Xolos. Also spent a little bit of time with Club America. But Philly, this is a player we're familiar with. He's faced LAFC 6 times with Carson.
Yeah, I would say he's their best player, certainly their most experienced, but Joe Corona's up there in age. He's not exactly what one would call a spring chicken. And I don't even really know what the heck that means, a spring chicken. It's a funny term. I've never farmed before. We don't have farms in Queens or Manhattan, but he is a player that has obviously had some time against us, and he's had some success within his career. Where he's gone and traveled, the teams he has played for, that's a very impressive resume. Anybody would hope to have the kind of resume that Joe Corona had. Obviously, the most experienced out of anybody within that San Diego Loyal organization, with the exception of DeAndre Yedlin and obviously Landon Donovan. So he's going to be a player to watch out for. A couple other MLS players, Scarf. I mean, you got Elliot Collier, who had 4 years with the Chicago Fire. That's somebody to look out for. And I remember him vaguely, especially his name, because I was in the hospital at the time with my appendicitis. Blake Bodley from the Portland Timbers, who was a homegrown player who made his debut in Orlando during that 2020 COVID Cup. He's another guy with MLS talent. But the one that y'all are kind of familiar with, maybe, I mean, he never really played. You've probably heard his name more times on our podcast than anything, and we lovingly referred to him as the Ghost, but in reality, his name is Alejandro Guido.
Yeah, I think the seminal moment in his LAFC career is him getting ready to sub in. God, which was it? Eddie Segura? Which player was it, Philly, that was hurt-ish and looked like they might have to come off? It's gonna kill me now. I'm gonna have to go back and
I don't
look at
remember,
that.
but it was during COVID. There was nobody in the stands other than media, so it was like us on the far end of Sunset, right next to Joseph Zacher and Vince, who were in the suites right next to us. That was such a crazy setup, man. That whole thing, if you think back on it, I mean, including that, we definitely haven't missed very many LAFC matches because we were fortunate enough to get to cover the team during COVID.
And I've said this before, I did not know there were birds' nests up in the rafters at the time Banc of California Stadium, because you could actually hear them cooing during the match. It was the craziest thing. Anyway, the moment that we're talking about, Alejandro Guido getting ready to sub in, whoever it was, God, I want to say it might have been Eddie Segura, but it could have been like Edward Atuesta. I don't remember. Whoever it was waved to the bench that he's good. Don't worry about it. Don't bring on the sub. And so Bob calls back Alejandro Guido, who had still never played in a match for LAFC up until that time. And he rips off his jersey, throws it down, and walks into the tunnel. And really, it was almost never to be seen again at that point for LAFC. Though he spent, between
when he really became a ghost.
Right. Between 2019 and 2021, in between loans out to a couple different clubs, he never saw the pitch for LAFC, despite making the 18, I would say maybe a half a dozen times or so, maybe even more. No Alejandro Guido for LAFC, but he's definitely, he's been solid, right? If I remember correctly, it's 12 goals, 10 assists for the San Diego Loyal in his time there. He's capped over 70 times. He's been a player that the Loyal have come to rely upon.
Yeah, absolutely. He was not anything of an MLS player, but he certainly has been a really good USL player. I mean, he's worn that captain's armband before as well. So he's a player that you're going to be somewhat familiar with. And look, I can't say it. There's going to be another player on the San Diego Loyal, and I know this for a fact. I can't say it. You'll understand why within the next 24 to 48 hours. But another LAFC player that has played and actually has scored goals for us. Not a lot, but still has gotten decent playing time with our club and one other club. That's all I'm going to say about that. But fact of the matter, folks, it is a preseason game. It's general admission, obviously, season ticket holders who had the ability to opt in to pick up about 4 tickets, which, that's somewhat controversial within its own writings. An account should really be limited to the number of tickets it has. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's a preseason game, but that's the way I'm going to look at it. It's going to be really cool to be back at the Banc. We'll see how much poorer we're going to be shelling out money for new gear, which, by the way, free game, that's nice. Entice us with a kit launch party and have us open our wallets, but give us a free game as well. Brilliant. Certainly got me. And I want that Anthem jacket. I want that jersey. I saw the joggers. I love the joggers. I think my favorite thing that I bought last season was those track pants. I wear those suckers all the time. I love them. I feel like I'm not wearing any pants, which is why I like them. Hopefully the jogger pants are just as comfy. I can't wait to cop all that gear.
Yeah, the shorts were cool too. They're like kind of olive green, forest green.
That's all you. You're a shorts wearing kind of a guy. Show off those sexy stems, baby.
I am definitely a shorts wearing kind of a guy, born and raised here in beautiful Los Angeles, California, not going anywhere without shorts. But yeah, you mentioned it, right? The joggers are cool. The shorts are cool. The Anthem jacket, with the exception of that poor guy on Twitter who had his star placed. It was like second star to the right and straight on till morning out there with his jacket. But honestly, excited to see everybody. It's almost like the first day of school yet again. Even though we've got a preseason match, we're still going to see a lot of the usual suspects out there. We won't be tailgating per se before this match because we're going to be inside and checking everything out at 1:00. Don't forget, again, jersey launch happens at 1:00. And please check our social media accounts. Check LAFC's social media accounts. The Cup is going on tour, people. The Cup. If you want to take a picture with the Cup and spend time with the Cup, it's starting, I believe, at is it at Northgate?
Keep talking. I'll pull it up. It's on our Instagram. Keep talking.
Yeah, I think it's an appearance with Cheeky Palacios, by the way. This is a guy who several clubs in Europe are barking up the tree of Cheeky Palacios. Philly, please give us all the details on the Cup tour.
So February 19th, which happens to be a Sunday, at the Northgate Market from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., Yes, Cheeky Palacios will be there. 944 East Slauson Avenue in Los Angeles. The day after, which happens to be President's Day, but another national holiday in Casa de Filament is Panda's birthday. The Cup will be taking a tour to Superior from 6 to 8 p.m., 1710 South Main Street in Santa Ana. February 21st, back again at Superior. And this is going to be in Long Beach, 5450 Cherry Ave, Long Beach in the house. Then a 2-day break for the Cup because, 3 straight days of traveling for that piece of hardware can be quite exhausting for it. You don't want it to lose its shimmer. On the 23rd, Superior. This is going to be in Linwood, California, 3831 East Martin Luther King. And to round things off at Cardenas, February 24th in Fontana, 16721 Valley Boulevard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days within the next week where you will have the opportunity to see the MLS Cup. Oh, and by the way, throughout the course of the season, you're going to also see it where it belongs. BMO Stadium. I had to think about that one.
I thought you were going to say Philip Monster Studios for a minute there. God, that
no.
would be
The Supporter Shield made its way to Philip Monster Studios. I think it would be a lot harder for the MLS Cup to be here. If it is, chances are the authorities would be after me. I would be in here shortly thereafter.
So again, look, we hope you guys are enjoying One More Sleep. This is the first of obviously at least we're thinking 50 matches on the season, right? Between all the different cups and playoffs. And I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun, you guys. We have plenty of action here on One More Sleep. And if you are watching this, that means you have tuned into YouTube, which is where we are going to be posting all of our One More Sleeps. From here on out, we'll have the preview up on Instagram. But if you want to get the full video, you got to come right here to YouTube. Thank you guys so much. Philly, this is exciting times, man. I'm going to see you tomorrow. What time are you getting to BMO?
I mean, we have to talk about that. I'm sure our significant others would like to know. You know how much they love our ability to communicate properly. So we have to figure that out.
I'm just shocked they haven't planned it for us already. So
I mean, I think they should because they know us too well. We suck at organization.
Well, that being said, what we don't suck at is keeping this under 20 minutes. We did it. All right. One more sleep, you guys. San Diego Loyal, LAFC, the first match at BMO Stadium where fans will be allowed in the building to watch the black and gold. We'll see you guys tomorrow at BMO. Kit launch. Philly will be there. I'll be there. You'll be there. Bye.
Bye-bye.